Have you ever found yourself mindlessly scrolling through social media for hours on end, while simultaneously struggling to focus on an important task that's due in a few minutes? Deep down, you know that completing your work is the responsible choice and will ultimately benefit you in the long run. However, for some reason, it feels more satisfying to watch amusing cat videos on YouTube, even though you're not achieving anything and will likely forget what you watched in no time. It's as if your brain convinces you that browsing the internet is more fulfilling than accomplishing your tasks. To understand why this happens, we need to delve into the role of dopamine in our brains. Dopamine is a type of neurotransmitter that plays a significant role in how we experience pleasure. However, some researchers argue that dopamine is more closely tied to motivation than pleasure itself. Prior to engaging in a particular activity, dopamine is released in the brain to signal an expectation of reward. Even if there's nothing particularly exciting happening, it's the promise of a reward that keeps us motivated. Unfortunately, when it comes to tasks like exercising or working, the immediate expectation of reward is often absent, even though we consciously recognize the benefits of these activities. As a result, it's much easier to choose the path of instant gratification rather than getting out of bed in the morning to tackle our responsibilities or go for a jog. Scientists have identified specific strategies that, if implemented correctly, can help you tap into your dopamine system and motivate yourself to tackle tasks that you might ordinarily feel hesitant about. In today's video, I will be sharing with you how you can retrain your brain to actually enjoy doing things that you don't normally like doing. Are you someone who often gets overwhelmed by big goals and ends up procrastinating instead of making progress? You're not alone. The good news is that there's a simple solution to this problem: focus on smaller goals instead. Breaking down your big goals into smaller, more attainable ones can make them seem less daunting and help you stay more focused. Let's say you have a big presentation due in a week. Instead of stressing out about the whole thing, break it down into smaller goals. First, dedicate 2 days to doing thorough research on the topic. Then, spend 3 days creating the presentation and filling in the slides. Finally, set aside a couple of days to practice. By doing this, you're creating achievable micro-goals for yourself, and each one you accomplish will give you a sense of accomplishment and motivation to keep going. And if you really want to kick your productivity into high gear, consider creating a reward system. Give yourself a small treat after each task to make the process even more enjoyable. Remember, the key is to focus on the smaller goals. By doing so, you can achieve big things without feeling overwhelmed. So break down those big goals into achievable chunks and get to work. Do you find yourself feeling anxious or unfocused after spending hours on social media? It's not uncommon. Our minds can pick up bits and pieces from the online world that don't belong there, making it harder for us to focus on our real-world tasks. That's where meditation and mindfulness come in. By taking the time to observe your thoughts without getting too attached to them, you can weed out the unproductive ones and regain control of your mind. Mindfulness is especially useful for balancing out your dopamine levels, which can be disrupted by unexpected things like a sad puppy video on YouTube. To make the most of this technique, try setting aside time at the beginning and end of each day to unplug from the online world and focus on your own thoughts. By doing this, you'll be able to use your mind as a tool instead of letting it control you. So the next time you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, take a break from social media and try meditating or practicing mindfulness instead. Your mind and productivity will thank you. Did you know that our brains are wired for comfort? But did you also know that this can work against you? For example, let's say you desperately want to hit the gym and lose weight, but for over a decade you've built your identity around being overweight and lazy. While, on a conscious level, you want to move your body and shed some pounds, subconsciously, your mind associates that with discomfort and pain. Your mind will do everything in its power to dissuade you from hitting the gym. When we are unaware of this, we end up in a painful cycle of wanting to change but at the same time staying in exactly the same place as before. Although this may sound discomforting, let me tell you the good news. You and I have full control and the ability to tell our mind to shut up. The trick is to take small steps every day that take you outside your comfort zone. Instead of overwhelming yourself, start small. If you have never worked out before, start doing YouTube videos in your own home. This may be a complete shock to your system, but you're slowly becoming a newer version of yourself. Then, go to the local gym, even if all you do is get on the treadmill that is in the farthest corner of the gym. Afterward, hire a trainer and continue to take it one step at a time. Your mind thinks that it's helping you stay safe by telling you not to go out of your comfort zone, but you're smarter and know better, so don't let it control you. When you try to step out of your comfort zone, your brain may come up with all sorts of believable and plausible excuses to keep you stuck. To combat this, think about the cost of inaction. Let's take the example of weight loss. Take a good, hard look in the mirror and ask yourself if you'd be okay with looking the way you do for the rest of your life, or worse, looking even more unhealthy. You'll most likely answer with a resounding no. Then ask yourself if skipping the gym because you're afraid of falling off the treadmill is worth gaining more weight. Again, the answer is likely no. Think about how much worse things could get if you don't take a step forward today. Do you want to be stuck in the same body, crying and hoping for a miracle for another 10 years? I'm guessing the answer is no. Remember, taking action may be scary, but the cost of inaction is even scarier. This is the last point related to exercise, but it's an important one. Working out can work wonders for your brain. Not only does it improve your motor skills, but it also has a positive effect on your memory. In addition, studies have shown that exercise releases chemicals in the brain that make us feel happy. Even just 20 minutes of aerobic exercise can help boost your motivation by regulating dopamine levels. The increased activity gets more blood pumping to your brain, creating the perfect condition for it to grow and process. That's why you often feel more alert and focused after a workout. Whether it's walking, jogging, Pilates, or hiking, your brain will reap the same benefits. So, start your day off right with a 15-minute workout and notice how amazing you feel for the rest of the day. Getting enough sleep is crucial for your overall well-being. There's a reason why we're advised to get 8 hours of sleep each night. Not getting enough sleep can result in lower dopamine levels during the day, which in turn leads to a lack of motivation. People who don't get enough sleep also tend to be reactive to any negative emotions they experience the following day. This change in mood and motivation impairs your ability to be productive. When you sleep, your brain gets to work archiving memories, making creative connections, and cleaning out toxins. But these benefits aren't just limited to a full night's sleep. A short nap in the afternoon can provide you with a boost of energy equivalent to roughly 1 or 2 cups of coffee, as well as increased retention of facts and great creativity. In other words, if you're feeling sleepy or lacking motivation, investigate your sleeping patterns and prioritize getting enough sleep above all else. Have you ever found yourself breezing through your work while listening to your favorite music? Research has shown that music can have a positive effect on our brains when we're faced with mental fatigue caused by routine tasks. Performing the same tasks day in and day out can tire out our brains, but listening to music can give it a much-needed boost by helping it escape from the mundaneness of it all. There are certain types of music, like EDM and classical, that are especially effective at taking our minds out of a fatigued state. So, if you're feeling drained and unmotivated, consider putting on a playlist, shuffling the tracks, and seeing how much work you can get done while enjoying the music. If you feel stuck in a rut at work, changing your environment might be just what you need to boost your productivity and creativity. While it may not always be possible to change your work environment, if you work from home, take advantage of your entire house. Consider designating one area solely for your heavy-duty tasks and another for relaxation and creativity. If you find yourself constantly cooped up inside, it's time to take a break and head outdoors. Studies show that spending as little as 5 minutes in nature can improve your mood, increase motivation, and boost self-esteem. The sun's rays can also help increase dopamine and serotonin levels in your brain, which can make you feel more positive and focused. Thank you for tuning into this video. We hope you found it helpful and informative. Until next time, take care and keep striving for your goals.